bringing the music down because we're bringing the show in. What's up, everybody? Andrew Wall here, host and executive producer at Illuvium, and welcome to IlluviTalks. Wow, what a moment in crypto history today. Holy moly. We're doing an episode on women in Web3, Gen Z in Web3 and crypto, but we're going to have to address the moment that's happening out there with FTX, with markets just in a free fall right now, the craziest moment in crypto ever. And I've got an expert panel of some of the smartest people on the internet with me. Really quick, before we get into that, here's what we're talking about. Here's the financial disclaimer. This is not financial advice. We are just a bunch of smart people sharing our opinion about the future of Web3 and crypto. You need to do your own research. And maybe part of your research is listening to some of the brilliant people we're bringing on the show today, including Miss Teen Crypto in the house. Let's bring her in here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Andrew. Hope you guys are doing well in the Illuvium community. Happy to be hanging with you in such a crucial time in crypto history.
I chugged so many of your podcasts and your videos and what have you in research for this episode. Miss Teen Crypto, spreading crypto and NFT adoption to Gen Z in the world, hosted the Miss Teen Crypto Show podcast. The word zesty will be used multiple times. Also, on this episode, we've got Cryptomom. I was with Cryptomom on another podcast. I'm like, I've got to have her on the show. Such fire. What's up, Cryptomom? How you doing today?
Hey, everybody. I'm doing great. Thanks for inviting us. Thank you.
Cryptomom is the owner of Bundles Bets and Gentry Media, and one of my favorite crypto Twitter accounts to follow. With all the madness happening with FTX and Binance right now, you're actually one of the primary accounts that are popping up in the top of my feed. Twitter algorithm knows I like your tweets. And we've got Cynthia in the house as well. Cynthia, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hi guys, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here with amazing women, and Andrew, you're awesome. So super excited to talk to the Illuvium community today.
I'm really glad to have you here. Cynthia is a gamer and a marketing lead at Gentry Media, and we've got folks with marketing expertise, creator expertise, business backgrounds, bankers here. We've got the expert panel. We're going to talk about women and Gen Z in Web3. And your opinions are obviously incredibly valuable there. But wait, we've got to talk about this wild moment in crypto history happening right now with FTX. Maybe it's going to be insolvent. Maybe Binance is going to buy them out. Maybe the crypto markets will be saved. Maybe it'll tank further. This is a historic moment that we're going to refer back to years from now. So I just want to go around the table and just get your kind of hot take in the moment here on November 9th, 2022, on what's happening in the markets and what you think we will learn from this moment looking back 5 years from now. What do you think we'll learn from this moment right now? And I'd like to start with Miss Teen Crypto. What are your thoughts?
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me again. Well, I have a lot of thoughts on what happened with FTX, Binance, this whole shenanigan, as we could say. If you've been watching what's been happening with FTX, and Ben, aka BitBoy, has been kind of throwing warning signs, you could say, about FTX, about Sam Bankman-Fried, and there were warning signs about the FTT token way before this. It was just whether people, noticed or did their research in this certain situation. I do think that this coming to light is a great thing for the crypto community, being that in this bear market, we've discovered a lot of, faults in the crypto space, and we have cleared them up. And we need to clear all this up for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency to go mainstream. We can't have all these problems if we have mainstream adoption and millions in the whole world basically using this system. We need to clear out these bad actors. I think this is a good thing. Hopefully, Binance could take over and do some good things with FTX, and that everybody could kind of filter this out and move on.
Makes sense. Cryptomom, you've been given some hot takes on Twitter. I love them. What are your thoughts right now in this moment? What do you think we're going to learn when we do this show, IlluviTalks, 5 years from now, and I bring all of you guys back? What are we going to reflect upon this moment and think about this moment today in crypto history?
5 years from now, first of all, I'm going to be in my 50s. So you're going to be listening to me when I'm 50 years old, okay? You're not listening now, you're going to listen then. So first of all, thank you so much. I'm honored to be on the stage with my darling daughter, Cynthia, and Miss Teen. Andrew, that was a good podcast we had last time. So now this is a Black Swan event I personally did not see coming. Now, I do realize BitBoy has been telling us about this. And I'm not a fan, but I love Big Boy because he just keeps it real. Sometimes you gotta follow those accounts that just keep it real. I've met him in person. Nice guy, down to earth. And behind the facade, or all the stuff that Sam was trying to do, acting like he's going to be the savior during the May lunar collapse, when Terra Luna collapsed earlier this year, when Celsius, when Voyager went down. He acted like he had all his ducks in a row. That's why I was when I started looking deep into this FTX thing, I was like, oh my God, this is not going to be good for us. And this is not, definitely, especially when Coindesk came up with the report last week. That's when I realized, okay, this, I don't know if you all know this, but anybody with funds on FTX needs to start taking their funds away. Thank God I've never used the platform because of, I don't think they're even legal here in Texas. But yeah, a lot of people that I was speaking with, students, I was telling them, get on crypto.com. For me, as a leader in the space, a lot of people reach out to me. And for God does this, not just me. I don't do this on my own. Every time something's about to happen, like with the Luna crash, I told people to get off. I was telling my followers, get off Luna. And this time I was telling people that were DMing me, I was like, I wouldn't have any money on FTX. It is what it is. And 5 years from now, this is a story we're going to be telling. I'm going to be telling my grandchildren, like, I was in the middle of all three crashes. Like, how? This was crazy.
Not your
It's
keys, not your
wild.
crypto. Yeah,
Exactly.
and you can't
Yes.
trust the words of leaders in the crypto industry. You can only trust yourself, and that's part of.
True.
Obviously, that's a part of having a hardware wallet. Personally, full disclosure, I am stuck in some active trades on FTX US. I have a significant amount of money
Ooh.
stuck in there in active options trades, and so I got fingers crossed over here on that one. So
Yeah, you told
yikes!
me that yesterday. I was like, I'm
Oh,
praying for you. I know
it's
someone with like
nasty.
millions in there. So,
Yeah, I've got a
Yeah.
lot. I've
Some
actually got
people
a
have their
lot stuck in FTX. Cynthia, what's your take on this moment? 5 years from now, we'll look back. What are those lessons learned? What's that perspective we'll have on this moment in crypto history?
The biggest lesson for me, and I think for a lot of traders or investors or people who want to be founders, is this is a lesson fundamentally on greed. FTX or whatever Sam Bankman Fried, I think for a lot of people was probably the last person we would expect to be in this situation, kind of echoing on what my mom said about seeming like it was all put together, and that when you know you're insolvent, or at least on the brink of insolvency, you're not going to buy a stadium, you're not going to invest in multiple layer ones and those sorts of things. It's greed at the bottom line. I think
Mm-hmm.
this what Miss Teen Crypto and a lot of people are saying is that this is good. Not in the moment, it's painful in the moment, it's a bloodbath in the moment, but it's good because it's purging out bad actors and bad business practices. Like, this is not sustainable. It really wasn't sustainable, and it isn't sustainable if we want crypto to be what we know that it can be. And then for consumers, it's a lesson on, I don't want to say it's common sense, but it's crypto sense, right? These ideas, like you're saying, of having a cold wallet, of not storing your money on centralized exchanges, and doing your research and things. So lots of lessons to be learned. I think it's definitely really painful. Growth and lessons are typically painful, but in the long run, the projects that are uh, of good intent and are for the betterment of people are going to definitely withstand the test of time. And I think it's going to be great in the long term.
That makes sense. So thank you for sharing your thoughts on that. I want to get into the main topic at hand here, which is women in Web3, women in crypto. I went ahead and did some research, and there's some conflicting numbers out there. Let me know if you've seen some better numbers on this. I've been in some really cringy discussions with men talking about how we were going to bring women in crypto. Oof, it's been really bad. So generally speaking, the numbers I've seen out there is that about 5 to 10% of crypto founders are women currently, and roughly 25%-ish, the numbers I've seen are kind of conflicting from different sources out there, 25%-ish of crypto holders right now, Bitcoin holders as well, are women, which means it's a male-dominated industry. 80 to 90% basically of people working in the crypto industry are male, and then about 75% of crypto holders are male right now. So the question I want to bring up with all of you, and I want to start with Cryptomom. Why do women account for the minority portion of crypto investors when in many cases, I know it's cultural depending on the country, but in many cases in the United States, for example, women are actually in charge of the household finance, yet a minority portion of crypto holders in particular are women right now. What are your thoughts on that?
My main thoughts are that we are very cautious. Women are very cautious. I'm going to look back in the 80s, and when I was, when I was younger in the 80s, obviously, I didn't want to imagine that the tech boom would be the future. I was waiting and sitting on the sidelines and saying, maybe this is not it. And a lot of women, mothers in the household, we take care of the finances. It takes a very bold mom to say, I'm going to go with my gut and I'm going to invest in an industry that's early stage, a new asset class. Obviously, there's a lot of education that has to be provided, but we're very cautious in nature. And one thing I've realized when I even left the bank after almost 2 decades in banking in traditional finance, a lot of people are looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, you really are not going to go into crypto, are you? Like, this is very volatile, very, like, you're not
Yeah, I know that
walking
feeling.
away from a career, your 401k that is sure every month, getting money to something that you don't know. But when you know what you know and you stick with it, and you're not looking at now and you're building generational wealth, I could care less, because I was not going to keep making the CEO of a Web2 industry rich and richer. I had to get out, and a lot of the women that reach out to me, they want to learn. It's all about education right now, and that's why we have that low, like, right now no one's really paying attention. But the more we keep educating, and like right now we're telling people that this industry is actually okay when you come in and you learn first before you invest.
I like that. Okay, so you're saying that women can be more cautious, or maybe what you're saying, maybe women generally could in the past be more risk averse, and that could be a reason. It's an emerging technology, and with a moment like today, if you're just flipping through the headlines or flipping through Twitter and you're seeing one of the major crypto exchanges is crashing, that would be reinforcing to yourself, right? And say, oh, I knew that crypto was too risky. And this may push. Do you think that this moment in history will push women further away from crypto adoption, or some women further away from crypto adoption, when they see headlines like big exchanges are going bust right now?
This is it's kind of like Bitcoin back in 2014 and 2015, and I saw someone tweet about that and say we're going back to now having to, like, emphasize in the space that this is the best time to build, quietly build, because they think it's not, this industry is almost like not going anywhere. Like, we're not gonna resurface in 2024 and Bitcoin's gonna be back up again at 60K, but we're gonna do it quietly, because when we make noise, they're like, oh, they're just making noise and this is about nothing. So we have to go back, and we have to, it's not about bringing people right now into Web3. Actually, it's about education and building quietly. The people who are here to stay. The people who are not, I don't think they want to come in right now. I think this is not a moment to try and bring people in right now. Thanksgiving is going to be interesting at the table.
Yeah, it's going to be
Facts.
interesting. Oh, I told you not to invest in that Bitcoin or whatever. Cynthia, you're currently working in the crypto industry, and
Yeah.
I want to know, what can Web3 industry do to attract more women? If only 5 to 10% of staff in the crypto industry are women, and what can we do to attract? That's one thing, but maybe a side question there. What can the Web3 industry do to stop repelling women if there's some things that are obnoxious about this space that are pushing women away? Be curious to know your thoughts on that.
Right. How do we retain the women that we have, right? So that's twofold. I think in attracting women, actually, the recession, impending a recession, whatever you want to call it, could be an interesting time, given this notion that my mom laid out that women just tend to be more careful in terms of finances, less risk averse. And I think that is a lot of the fact that they tend to be the ones controlling finances for a family. So if you have kids to feed and they need to go to school and all that stuff, and you're not likely to put your crypto into, or your money into crypto, pardon me, because its volatility, right? So I think it could be interesting to see what I'm starting to see emerge is these just stable APYs that just perform better than inflation. They're kind of boring, or they're pegged to real world assets like farmland, or the yield is pegged to things like farm. I think that could be really compelling for women, mothers, all over the world. Do want to be a part of a new exciting asset class, but don't want the risk and volatility that comes with it. A lot of people are starting to move to stable coins, things that allow for them to be in the space, but not be like, having to check coin market cap every hour to see the volatility. That's like, can be
Oh
really
God, please don't.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't recommend anybody check coin market cap every hour. That makes sense. Let me reemphasize the question. Is there anything like, as a crypto bro myself, I guess, like,
Right.
is there anything about the crypto bro culture, or like whenever you Google crypto or Bitcoin or any podcast, it's usually freaking white dudes talking to each other, assertively broing it up in conversations about the future of the metaverse or crypto or whatever. Is that repelling to women? And like, what can we do about this? Let me know what you think.
Definitely, it's naturally repelling if you come into a space, any space, and you don't feel embraced, or you don't feel like you're around people that are like-minded or who will hold space for who you are. Naturally, it's repelling, and it's kind of funny. I know Miss Teen Crypto and my mom. We've been in this space for a while, so we've seen a lot of that. But it's funny. It's like, I think it's more so repelling on the outside looking in. But then when you're in the space, there's a lot of sweet people like you, Andrew, and there's a lot of good guys. Like, I mean, I know that's kind of like taboo to say, but there's a lot of good actors in this space. What makes the news, though, is, the not so bad, the toxic, the kind of in the fringe that do happen. I'm not going to don't happen. They definitely do happen, right? But the reality is that I mean, I can speak for.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. Okay. Here's the pickle that Illuvium is in. We're trying to market video games, which AAA video games, hardcore video games, typically have difficulty marketing to women.
Mm-hmm.
Now, women do play certain types of games, but typically not the types of games that Illuvium is currently creating with RPGs and hardcore auto chess, auto battlers with lots of combat. Women typically gravitate toward like puzzle games, collection games, casual games, and mobile games, and actually make up the majority of revenue through these types of games. I'm not saying women don't play other types of games. It's just the numbers. So Illuvium's in a pickle where we're creating games that are typically played by men. And then we're in a space crypto, which is also mostly men, and in terms of the industry and in terms of people with wallets. So I got to ask you, Miss Teen Crypto, as a crypto gamer, I know you dabble, and I know you keep track and you play games yourself. Are we too early in adoption to really attract women into the crypto gaming space? Is it a double whammy that we're trying to put together gaming and crypto, two things that are normally kind of occupied by men together? Does that make it like a extra, like, double whammy of too many men in this space? What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely not. I think the amount of women from when I first came in is dramatically higher than it was. When I first came into crypto Twitter, I was going to conferences. There was not even a line at the women's bathroom. It was deserted. It was empty. Last time I went to NFT NYC, I actually had to wait outside. That means that there's more women there. That's progression. And I know that's a silly example, but that's like what the reality is. You just have to see there's so many women. There's a lot more women actually in NFTs and gaming and this whole type of space rather than more of the Bitcoin crypto space, which is kind of funny to me. But I think it's because it's just this is a more open, fun space. And I think gaming is actually going to bring in a lot of Gen Z. It's going to bring in a lot of women just because it's more open. And it's a lot more fun with NFTs in the crypto community. I think you guys are doing great. At the same time, we're just a little bit early. I think if you guys keep going, doing what you're doing, being inviting to one another, just like how you would anybody else, of course the women are going to come. We just have to keep doing what we're doing. I don't think anyone was doing anything wrong. I think obviously the toxic spaces were mostly like those are gone now, and there's a lot more women in crypto. There's women in crypto spaces all the time, especially in gaming. So I think we're going to be okay. You guys just have to keep doing what you're doing and be inviting, be zesty with it.
There's the zest I was looking for. There's that catchphrase. You know, Cynthia, I know you're working, you're kind of leading in the marketing space here in crypto. And one thing that, just my quick 2 cents on this, I think that there's a huge opportunity for women to be on the marketing side, in particular in the crypto industry and crypto gaming industry. In my experience in Web2, some of the strongest leaders that came up, like my head of operations and my our head of digital at Illuvium, for example, were female marketers. And I feel like the teams in the crypto and crypto gaming space right now desperately need more women on the team to expand the appeal. So Cynthia, what are your thoughts there? If you were to tell someone who's thinking about maybe working from home or jumping into technology and into this new wide marketing world, what would you tell them about the space for them to be able to put their foot in the door if they're thinking about jumping in the marketing side of this industry?
I would say 100% do it. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Your perspective, your voice is so necessary on many reasons, but mostly in getting people to understand the technology and the impact of what a lot of marketing is really just communicating. It's having empathy and being able to tell a narrative of something, and women are just amazing at that. So if you're wanting to get into marketing, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, especially for crypto Web3 companies. I think there, like you're saying, there's a lot of room for growth. There's a lot of room for growth. There's a lot of room for changing the narrative. There's a lot of room for adding your perspective and really making a
Sounds good. You don't have to go market for traditional boring companies. You can be doing so on the cutting edge of technology. We have an audio version of this podcast that you can enjoy anytime you want. Quick plug here. Go to illuvium.buzzsprout.com. I'll be editing this episode. It'll be literally on every podcast platform in the world. And I'll process all the audio, make it sound nice and tight, and you can listen to this on the go. So you can hear the thoughts of our panel today and all the other genius panels we've had on the show recently. So it's not just about women in crypto. There's this generation out there that's younger than me, Gen Z. And Gen Z is adopting crypto at preposterous rates, is interested in finance at a level that I've never seen before, and certainly that I wasn't interested in at that age. And in terms of crypto adoption, Gen Z right now, I'm going to go ahead and pull up a chart on the screen right now and then kick it over to Miss Teen Crypto. But this chart was really eye-opening to me. Let me pull it up for you right here. Here it is. This is crypto buyers 18 to 40 years old, and Gen Z accounted for 17% of crypto buyers. Boomers are obviously a minority there, Gen X a minority, and then of course millennials like me are a huge bulk portion. But folks that are 18 to 24 years old are accounting for a huge slice of the pie in terms of crypto investment. And if this space is going where we think it's going to go, then that means there could be an opportunity for generational wealth building, for wealth transfer, as Cryptomom is always talking about, happening right now. Is Gen Z hopping on the right train right now? And is this maybe a pathway to get Gen Z financial freedom? Miss Teen Crypto, what are your thoughts on that?
You said it perfectly. I really think that crypto is evening the playing field, not just for Gen Z, but for everybody globally. This is a really important movement. Gen Z has been on social media for a long time. I grew up on social media. I remember when Snapchat came out. I remember when Instagram was first popping off before even Instagram enabled videos. I was on Instagram from the very, very start. Growing up on social media, you do discover a lot. As iPhones progress, as apps progress, you had more accessibility to information. At this point, you could just Google anything, and at the tap of a finger, you could find your answer to anything. Less than that, you could literally go, "Hey Siri," on your phone and ask a question, and you'll most likely get an answer. This is a revolutionary technology, blockchain, cryptocurrency. It's going to take us very far. Us being digitally native is of course a huge part of why we love cryptocurrency. I know that there are kids that are hacking these websites that they do homework on just so they don't have to do the homework and they can just get the right answer and move on. We like to
Those are
code.
real life skills right there, hacking.
Absolutely. And these kids, we're digitally native. We've grown up on technology all the time. Why wouldn't we want to take part in blockchain, build on blockchain? A lot of Gen Z are gamers. I grew up buying iTunes gift cards like a degenerate growing up, just trying to get every dollar so I could go to Walgreens, buy an iTunes gift card, go on the Apple store, and then go buy assets in game. But the thing is, I couldn't trade those assets. I couldn't do anything with it. Once I bought an asset in a game, it automatically went to zero. There was no real value there. I couldn't trade it. Can't do anything with it. Once the app is gone, then my assets are gone, right? So I think obviously growing up this way, digitally native, taking part in gaming, in-game currencies, digital currencies, we're made for this. Gen Z is made for this. I think that chart is going to change dramatically in the next 2 to 3 years as Gen Z kind of grows up a little bit. But we're going to take over this space, no doubt.
Jeez. All right.
I think
yeah.
we already took over the space.
Yeah, with you at the helm, I feel like it just happened just now.
I mean, listen, me, Cynthia, Imani, like we know what we're up against, right? We know that we've been using in-game currencies our entire life. We've been using digital property our entire life. Like we say, if you didn't take a selfie, you weren't there. We already understand the concept of digital property and what that means to us. So there's no doubt that Bitcoin, crypto, NFTs, we're going to want to be self-sovereign individuals. We're not going to want to go to the TradFi system and trust somebody else when we trust ourselves finding our own information anyway.
Miss
Cynthia,
Teen
I'm not going to
Crypto
assume
for
anything.
president.
Oh, go ahead.
I said Miss Teen Crypto for president.
Mr.
There it
Crypto
is.
for president.
I
She's
love you
running for
guys.
president. Cynthia, I'm not gonna assume anything about your age. I don't know if you're Gen Z or a millennial, but I wanted to know your thoughts on how do you think Gen Z or even let's say younger millennials will adopt traditional finance vehicles like stocks, precious metals, banks, etc., versus crypto? Like, is this going to be the kind of the line here generationally where we start to see legacy finance drop off? Or is it, or are we going to continue to see those things be used in the future by Gen Z and my younger millennials?
Well, I will just say that I'm happy you said that because I'm at the later end of Gen Z, and sometimes I think I look younger than my age. So for you to not know is like, oh, okay. But yeah, Gen Z, but definitely one of the elders. And I will say basically what Miss Teen Crypto said, like echoing that. When I go on TikTok and I'm looking at like people who've made money or people who've like invested and they're super young, they're like, how did you do it? And they're like, crypto. And so that's kind of the paradigm that our generation is shifting into. Less and less people are even talking about traditional like hedge funds and all that stuff. Hear a lot of it publicly, like on Twitter or really anything. So yeah, I think definitely it's going to be what happens right now, like after today. They always say like millionaires are made it during the recessions, and I know that so many Gen Zs are just gonna like just blow it out of the park in terms of like financial progress for like, and then kind of like lead the way for the older generations. Like, I mean, like Miss Teen Crypto, she's a perfect example of someone who gets it super young. And I'm seeing it like people from like kids from China, kids from Africa, like all over. So I don't know what to say about the legacy banking. I think it's going to survive for a while because we still have boomers, we still have the silent generation like my mom, we still have like millennials, but
She's not silent.
I'm the 1% that's buying. The 1% on the chat. Okay, that's me.
Yeah, you're
Crypto
right.
mom, I got to ask you though, for us elders here, I'm an elder millennial myself. I'm almost Gen Z, and I think you're Gen Z. There was this
Gen
interesting
X,
article
right?
in,
You
what's
meant
that?
you mean the Gen X, right? I'm a
Oh,
Gen X.
Gen X. I'm sorry. I was saying Z. Gen X is what I meant to say. Sorry about that. So there was this interesting article here that said that Gen Z and millennials want 50% want crypto in their retirement funds. And I know that Crypto Mom, you're a former banker. Sorry, I mixed up Gen X and Gen Z. All these
That's
letters
okay.
are kind of silly to me. But this kind of leads me to think boomers right now, a lot of them have stonks. A lot of Gen X have stocks. And we were kind of, and even elder millennials like me were raised to think, you want to put money away in your 401k and your Roth IRA, which go into these stock and bond portfolios. And that's where most of the wealth is right now for folks that are 35 plus at this point. But the younger generations don't want those type of assets from what I can tell. And so the question is, are people that are maybe in the middle there, in their 40s or so, that are holding on to stocks, but boomers are all selling their stocks, are they going to be holding the bags on traditional finance if they don't go over to crypto? I mean, my parents and all the boomers right now are selling off all their stocks, right? And so who's going to be buying stocks in the future? You need future generations to buy these traditional finance vehicles for them to thrive and survive. So do you feel like this is going to be does crypto spell sort of the maybe stocks becoming antiquated and maybe not being in favor anymore in the future? Is that really a viable retirement vehicle in the future? I'd be curious to know your thoughts on that. Is there a generational shift happening here?
Actually, as a former banker, I have to tell you, I've been paying attention to the stock market as well. They've gotten a beating this year. The tech stocks that everybody was counting on, Facebook, back in 2010 when I wanted to get in, was less than $100. It's definitely gone back very low. If you put the same money in there, it's back to the same money almost the same money you put in if you didn't get out. All the tech stocks that everybody was looking at and salivating on is not doing too well. A lot of and Cynthia has a friend that she was telling me this weekend. She went to see one of her older friends that she likes to talk to, and her husband, who's 75 years old, is getting into Bitcoin. So a lot of people are they're cautious, and they're looking at they just want a 2x. We who are in the space right now, we want a 10x. The others that are my generation, or even the older generation, if you just give them a 2x in their 401k, they're okay with that. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna see a lot of shift, cultural shift in the next 5 years. Actually, in the next 5 to 10 years, whereas they realize Bitcoin is at 20K, and it could no not it could be, it will be at 40K in the next 5 years. That's guarantee. It will be. It's an asset class that's not going anywhere. So the older generation is starting to think, so if I just put my money in Bitcoin on Fidelity, because Fidelity is now offering what, Bitcoin and Ethereum, you know what I'm saying? If I leave it in Bitcoin and Ethereum and not touch it, it's going to do its little swings up and downs, but in 5 years I have a 2x. I may not get that on in the regular stock market. I gotta give an example. My husband's 401k for the last 20 years. Um, yeah, exactly. So I can't even.
Right.
He's looking at the crypto space and saying, okay, yeah, we should have moved a lot more into crypto because, and
I
that's what
see.
we. So a lot of people, it's eye opening for them. And I'm looking at your comments. People are like, let's talk about Illuvium. We're talking about Illuvium. Illuvium is bringing women into crypto.
Yeah, that's right. And this IlluviTalks is a show about the crypto gaming industry. And
Mhm.
so it's really important that we expand the tent in this industry and we don't just talk about the same things that we all agree upon all the time. The next topic I want to go into, because I know all of you very closely follow the NFT space and also the gaming space related here. And Illuvium, I want to thank our sponsor for this episode, Illuvium. Illuvium's been here as our sponsor since the beginning of this show, and they pay me to play this advertisement. I'm going to play this real quick. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back to talk about the future of NFTs and gaming with our panel of experts. See you in just a moment. That's right. Illuvitalks are your avatar in the Illuvium universe. They are NFTs, and you can customize them. Build an Illuvitar today at illuvium.io/Illuvitalks. Go check it out. We're really excited about this project. We have a collections feature that's going to be coming out for this as well, where you can collect your Illuvitalks, put them in your collection, and receive rewards for them. I think it's a fun, interesting twist and innovation on the NFT space, which leads us to our topic here with our panel of experts. It's not just about crypto, it's about NFTs. And the conversation 3 years ago, nobody was talking about NFTs. It was just about tokens. Now that NFTs are in the picture, it's changed everything. So I want to talk about the future of Web3 in gaming. And we'll start with Cynthia. How do you think the NFT space will look different at the end of the decade versus now? Now, I know the NFT space just started, but let's say we're doing this podcast in the year 2030. How's the space going to look different? And what do you think has happened leading up to that moment?
That's a really good question. I like thinking that far out. One of the first things that I think will happen is, and we're already seeing this, but it's going to be a drive for more polished projects. It's going to be very hard to do what we've seen in the last bull cycle, where people are just pumping projects out that has really little to no meaning, and they're just making a lot of money, and then you never hear from them again. Like, that is not going to survive. 100% survive. There's a higher standard to which these projects are going to be measured on, and people are getting smarter at doing their own research and on what really makes an NFT community thrive. There's a lot more that the average consumer is asking out of an NFT consumer. So if you're a founder, and you were able to get a lot with a lot of things the last full cycle, but now it's going to be
Hold
a
on.
lot.
Are you saying that people won't pay $1,000 for a JPEG of a goblin turd in the future? Or is that what you're really saying right now?
Oh my gosh. I mean, leave it to people to do the craziest things with money. Of course, it's going to happen here and there, but it's definitely not going to be what the market consists of, which was what I would say largely the last full cycle. A lot of people can say that it was. So it's going to change on one level, like the quality is going to change, the experiences that communities get. Being in an NFT community fundamentally become a huge part of your social life, your school, maybe everything, right? And I think it's more and more it's going to be tied to real things like real estate, getting a degree, all these things that we do in our lives. A lot of that is going to be translated into NFTs.
Got it. So you think that obviously NFTs are more of the, let's say, an art thing, or maybe a gaming thing, or a music and entertainment thing. And let's put it all under entertainment for now and lifestyle. But you believe in the use case for NFTs to maybe do really important things like real estate deeds or legal documents or digital identity, and like all of these governmental or legal or political type of functionality in the future. You think we're going there?
Absolutely. If you really look at the essence of blockchain technology and what it enables, it's literally built for the exchange of such precious things that you don't even want it to be on paper anymore. And I think, like, right now, entertainment was an easy buy-in. It's really easy to sell a nice video game that's also an NFT, but more and more institutions are kind of like holding really tightly to what I think is inevitable. Like I think real estate is inevitable, although there's a lot of red tape, so we're not seeing it right now. It's inevitable for me, and so we're going to see both. We're going to see the because like games perform well during bearable markets. People need to be entertained, especially if you're at home. You're going to want to play a video game. Like entertainment is always a strong commodity, but we're going to see an explosion of cases we probably can't even think is possible right now.
I
All right, we're
love
gonna
that
do some.
answer. That was so deep.
That was good. That was good. We're gonna clip that. That's a highlight of the show right there. That's definitely a highlight. So
Thank you.
I'm gonna do some market research right now. So we want to get those sweet Gen Z downloads and users here in the crypto gaming industry. So what is that ideal Web3 game to get that sweet Gen Z crypto user in here spending their dollars and get those future generations pouring in to the Web3 gaming space? Miss Teen Crypto, what is that ideal video game or video games that are going to bring in the masses?
We need games that are going to give easy accessibility, right? Gen Z, we don't have that much of an attention span. We like easy things. I'm just going to be honest. We want stuff that we could just easily download. Like, let's say that's an app on your phone or an app on your computer. Just one click, sign in. I think a lot of the time it's a little challenging especially for the onboarding. Just having even a MetaMask for some is a barrier to entry. So the most simple way you can make a game, the better. I know some games have started with custodial wallets. Then you could connect your MetaMask and move your assets from there. I think that's probably a really good way. Just easy accessibility, easy entry. And I think, one thing that was brought up before was just paying an extreme amount just to enter a game. That's another thing that I think was a huge barrier to entry previously. Now we have a more free to play movement going on in this space, which I'm really enjoying, because for me, especially, I thought it was kind of crazy for some games to pay $600 for an asset just to play a game that maybe I can earn something from. I just want to play the game. Then maybe I'll start investing in it.
Yeah.
That's how it was in Web 2. And I hate to compare it like that, but I know a lot of kids that, even myself, right? When I first started playing Fortnite, I loved Fortnite. I liked the game. Obviously, I wanted to level up my character, get more assets. I'm going to start investing my time and my money from there. Except now with the Web3, like I was mentioning before, it's an elevated aspect where I'm investing my money in the game, yes. My time in the game, yes. But now I could trade these assets or sell them or even rent them out now, which is a really cool aspect of Web3 gaming that I really enjoy. It could teach a lot of kids about economics.
Teaching kids financial literacy is something I'm very passionate about. So I completely agree with you there, 100%.
Thank you.
Teaching them about ownership, being able to own your own things. All right, well, let me ask a sort of existential question here and kind of open up our minds then. So maybe the metaverse will exist in the Ready Player One format or not, let's say. But let me ask you, Cryptomom, let's say in a perfect world, you and I, we retire or something here in the next couple decades, and this metaverse thing plays out. We got Ready Player One haptic suits. We're old people in our old folks' home. We're jacked in. What sort of metaverse experiences do we want to have before we die? Like, what is that like sick, amazing, futuristic experience that would just really be a wow experience for you?
Okay, so first of all, I'm not going to be in an old people's home. Andrew, you're going to be over there by yourself. I'm just kidding.
Oh, sorry about that. All right, that's cool. Well, wherever you're going to be.
With Cynthia and Imani and so what the metaverse is gonna happen in 2040, even before 2040, it's gonna the generation right now, the Gen Zs are taking advantage of crypto. Their children will not be playing Fortnite. These kids will be playing Web3 gaming. The reason I know this, because even with the tech, the Web2 tech, before one generation makes it, the other generation uses it. That's just how it's going to play out. The Web2 companies know this is going to happen. How Meta came into the space was not ideal. I personally have to say something about. They should have done some research. Use people who are already in the industry instead of using the people who are in Web2 to fix Web3 or to come and build in Web3. So how I want to, I own land in the metaverse. I already do own land in the metaverse. When my
I'm
grandkids
curious
come
to know
over,
where do you own land in the metaverse when you say that? Or is it Sandbox, Decentraland, or Illuvium? Where do you put you
so
buy
we
land at?
do, right? Yeah. I don't know if I should announce this yet, but my
Oh, you
project
don't
has
have to if you don't want to.
Okay, no, we have partnerships with. We're working with the three top ones.
Hmm.
And I also have a massive home at TCG as well. But the three top ones, Sandbox, Decentra, we have some partnerships happening with those two as we speak. But my grandkids coming over to play, my future grandkids. I don't have grandkids yet. I'm speaking that into existence. So when they come to play, guess what we're going to be doing? We're going to be going into the metaverse. Okay, you get you your land, and let's play some games. Come and play Scrabble in the metaverse with me. That's what I enjoy doing, and that's a good way to to enjoy life with your when you're older. My brain is going to be less saturated with everyday events, and I have time to enjoy spending time in the metaverse in with the land that I acquired.
I like that. Do you think about, let me ask you this. Do you think about metaverse land in a similar way as like a physical land? Or how is it different to you? So the reason why I ask is some folks that are, I'll get it right this time, Gen X, have come to me and they're like real estate developers. They're like in their mid 40s and they're thinking like, I've got traditional real estate guys. They're interested in this metaverse. And they'll like want to pay me for a consulting session to tell them about metaverse land like it's some sort of real estate buy. Can you help people understand how metaverse land differs from physical land, other than the obvious fact that it's physical versus digital land?
So as for me, I've been a realtor, and those people who are coming to you and asking about metaverse land, I know a real estate office, big real estate offices that are actually selling land. Like they bought parcels in the central land, they bought parcels Sandbox and TCG. I don't know. Does Illuvium? I need to do my. I should have asked. You all have land in the metaverse?
We do, yeah. We sold 20,000 plots earlier this year. We sold like $72 million worth of land.
How come I didn't know about this,
I don't
Andrew?
know why you didn't know about it. I think you and I, we jumped on that podcast after the land sale. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I think that was
it's still for
after.
sale today.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
It is.
we gotta talk. Okay, so yeah, so what's happening is I've been a realtor. I'm trying. I've worn so many hats in the last 20 years. Being in the U.S. So physical land it does. It's obviously it's an asset that's always going to it's I don't know how to break it down. It's an asset class it definitely is going to keep going up, but just having the fact that I have physical land, that I have a house, um it's comforting. It's a comforting thing, and I think most people who want to have it in the metaverse feel the same sentiment. Like I'm just having it like a wealth, another asset class. It's just it's gonna go up, but it is another form of asset class. People like to buy vehicles. I personally love to buy bags, Louis Vuitton bags. If I can put $2,500 in a bag, I can put $2,500 in the metaverse, because
I
that
see.
$2,500 will probably be 4x in the next 5 years. So it's
I
just
see.
that
So
my
you think of
bag.
it as a diversification to a new asset class.
Correct.
Got it. That's really interesting. Okay, Cynthia, I want to know from you, before you die, not anytime soon, obviously, what type of experience do you want to have in the metaverse? Like, what is that like pie in the sky, Ready Player One type of moment you think like that would be cool? What's that moment like in your mind?
I'm a really I have like not I'm maybe boring taste, I guess you could say. Like I think for me it's like the social interaction that you get to have, and for it to feel really real. So I loved playing Club Penguin. I loved that when I was a kid. I loved going to school and then coming home and then logging on to Club Penguin and hanging out with all my friends from school. I think what would be really dope is to do a social thing in the meta feels really real, like a wedding or something. I would not my wedding. I wouldn't want to get married in the metaverse, but to witness a wedding, I think would be pretty dope. And then I'll be like, okay, well, this did what it had to do. Like the metaverse brought people together and it facilitated something for me that I feel is one of its purposes is to like bring people together. So when I can see that, I'll be like, okay, we did our job. We did a good thing. But as far as like the crazy player one, all these things, I mean, that's real life for me. Like I want to have real life just supplement real life.
Okay, that's fair. I remember when the first people got married in World of Warcraft. I don't know if you guys heard about
I
that.
heard
And
about
people
that.
laughed. It was a news story. But the reason why it happened was that obviously that couple, they had met in World of Warcraft. They had spent hundreds of hours, maybe thousands of hours with each other in that digital world. And so it only made sense for them to get married there. And so I think what you're talking about will happen when relationships start in the metaverse. People spend more time than not in the metaverse together while they're falling in love, then of course they'll want to get married in the metaverse. It only makes sense emotionally for them to do so. So I think what you're describing is inevitable. And I guess you could
That
argue it
was
already
so crazy.
happened in World of Warcraft, right?
Yeah, that'll be crazy to witness though. It's one thing to know what happens and then to like see it is crazy.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, Miss Teen Crypto, I got to know from you. What's that dream before you die? I got to do this in the metaverse thing. What's in your mind?
Ooh, that's a good one. I really like the idea of real life and the metaverse kind of coinciding with one another. I don't know if you guys watched, I didn't get to watch the whole entire thing, but I watched a majority of the Joe Rogan podcast with Mark Zuckerberg. And Mark Zuckerberg was kind of just talking about the metaverse kind
Mm-hmm.
of being part of your life, not the whole life. But I would love to see something where it's a simulation like bungee jumping or literally jumping out of a plane, something that you want to experience so bad, but maybe you just can't physically get there type of things. That's what I would love to see.
Got it. So crazy experiences. That makes sense.
Yes.
Or experiences you could never have before that maybe emulate real life or something like that.
And also, having an economy where people are openly able to communicate and use blockchain technology to facilitate things like transactions and what people are doing on a daily basis. Like, you sign into a wallet to play a game. Maybe the same thing could happen in the metaverse where you just have blockchain kind of tracking everything and just being able to facilitate that you do still own your assets.
Got it. Beautiful. All right. I've got the final question for each of you as we go around the table. I'm going to ask you the final question, and then I want you to tell our audience where they can find you. Here's your final question. You're walking down the street today. You bump into somebody who's never explored crypto gaming before, and you have just 30 seconds to tell them what they need to know. What do you tell them? All right, I'm going to kick it off with you, Cryptomom, first, or it could just be in the NFT space or Web3 space in general. That's fine. Give us that 30-second pitch to that person who's never understood this space before, and then tell everyone where they can find you, Cryptomom.
So, have you ever heard of Web3 gaming, where you can actually make or earn money while you play your game versus pay money in Web2 and not get anything out of it? A lot of young people have been playing games like Fortnite and just throwing money away because the returns, you just keep buying and keep buying. But Web3 is bringing something even better, has brought something even better. Check it out. It's gaming in Web3. And you can follow me on at Miss Cryptomom1 on Twitter. I spend more time on Twitter than on Instagram and LinkedIn. And obviously haven't been to Facebook in a minute, but I need to check Facebook. Check on the old folks that I went to school with and see how they're doing. But yeah, that's me. Thank you. That was my 30-second take.
Follow Cryptomom on Twitter, for the love of God. Great Twitter account. Got it. All right, what's your 30-second pitch, Miss Teen Crypto? You bump into you literally do man on
Yeah.
the street style interviews or whatever. Bumping into people, be like, have you heard of Bitcoin? So what do you tell that person in 30 seconds about Web3 gaming, and then where can people find you?
Awesome. What I would basically tell them is, hey, you've been playing a bunch of games throughout your entire life. What you've been doing is just paying to play, where you just insert money into a game's ecosystem, but basically the assets you buy, you can't do anything with besides they have the utility within their game. Now, if you look into Web3 NFT gaming, you have a situation where, yes, you could buy the same assets, but you could do more with your assets. Whereas you can trade it with one another, you could send that asset to a friend, you could sell it on a secondary market, or just keep it for yourself, but you could actually own it now and move it from wallet to wallet. It gives you an entire new way of just owning your assets and giving you accessibility to games that you haven't had before. If everyone wants to find me on social media, I'm at Miss Teen Crypto everywhere. MissTeenCrypto.com has all of my links. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. Anywhere you are, I am too. So make sure to look me up at Miss Teen Crypto. Thank you again for having me. I had a great time hanging out with you guys.
A star in the making, no doubt. Thank you, Miss Teen Crypto. I appreciate it. Cynthia,
Yeah,
30-second pitch. You only have 30 seconds.
I got 30 seconds. Yeah, I would just
You only
say
have 30 seconds to get them to play Web3 games. Go.
Okay, I would just say, so there's a quick story. So during the 2008 recession, Poland had one thing that was outperforming everything and they weren't going bad. So I'm speaking to the speculator here. I'm speaking to the crypto speculator or the crypto curious, the gaming speculator. That thing that they had, the commodity that they had was a game called The Witcher, and it sustained their entire economy of one country. So gaming is here to stay and crypto is here to stay. And the way the two meet is just a match made in heaven that you don't want to meet out. You don't want to miss out on it. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity at the start of something. And yeah, so that's what I would say. And on Twitter, Sinbahati everywhere, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff.
I have already done that. I have already followed and enabled notifications. Thank you so much for joining me, all of you. It is mandatory that you use my secret booking link I gave you and book for another episode in 2023. I want to revisit the markets here after the smoke clears from the FTX nonsense, after we move into yet another chapter in a few months in crypto and NFTs. I want to get your take on the markets and get your insights once again. Will you guys come back on the show?
Of course.
I would love to. It's amazing. It's been amazing.
Yeah,
And you're a great
beautiful.
panel.
Great. Audience, links in the description of both the YouTube video as well as the podcast. We're going to go ahead and sign off here, everybody. And I'm going to leave you with some original soundtrack music you maybe have never heard before of Illuvium. I'm going to play about a minute of it for you just as a sneak preview. We'll release our soundtrack entirely, I believe on Spotify is our plan, prior to launching all of our games. This is a medley of all the soundtracks from all three of our games, Illuvium Arena, Illuvium Zero, and Illuvium Overworld. Thank you so much for watching IlluviTalks, and we'll see you next week on all the same channels. Adios, everybody.
That was awesome.